Okay, so for a couple of days now, on Friday and then yesterday, we discussed at some length. In fact, the original phrase was we were talking about holding grudges and poisoning yourself and destroying your own life. When whoever it is that you feel screwed you around or ruined your life, they don't even know you're angry at them.
No clue.
And the phrase was, holding a grudge is like chain smoking hate.
I like it.
Then yesterday, we had the story about former Indiana basketball coach Bobby Knight. And how
little man.
He's still, he's not letting that go.
He wants the Indiana University execs to die.
He said to Dan Patrick on a radio interview, he said, Patrick said something about, would you ever go back to Bloomington? He said, I love the fans. I love the people in the city. And basically anybody that was associated with the administration when I was there who fired me, I hope they're all dead. Then Dan Patrick gives him a chance to walk it back. And he says, well, Miles Brand, who was president, when you were there and they fired you for smacking that kid around.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? The choking incident.
The kid deserved it.
Dan Patrick says, he's dead. And Bobby Knight doubles down. He said, I hope they all die. I went, wow.
Wow.
So Matt and I were talking about this yesterday. And I was thinking, no wonder if he's really carrying around this, if he's chain smoking that much hate, which he seems to be, no wonder he seems to be such an angry, miserable, discontented man. And Matt brought up a point that had never occurred to me. And we want to know what you think.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Matt says, this was sharp, kid.
I know.
I got to give you credit. This was sharp. He said, so what's the difference between Bobby Knight and that grudge? Chain smoking hate, he says with a bit of disdain. And Michael Jordan, who got cut from his sophomore basketball team and never forgave those coaches and used that as the drive and the impetus and the edge he needed to be the greatest player of all time. Or Tom Brady, who's never, that Tom Brady's never really forgiven those other NFL teams, all of them.
For passing him over.
For not drafting him for that.
What, he go in the 6th round?
Don't you know that every time somebody reads that Tom Brady combine scouting report, too slow, too skinny, too weak.
Even Tom posted it.
Can't run, can't move the ball downfield, weak arm. Mm-hmm. Don't you think every time, it's almost 20 years later, and Tom Brady, still uses that. When he's counting his Super Bowl rings? So other than Tom Brady and Michael Jordan having the diplomacy not to say, I wish they were all dead. Yeah, Bobby's going a little far. You tell me, though, what's the difference? Yeah, you're taking it a little too far. You're wishing ill and evil on the other people. But do you think that maybe in his heart Tom Brady thinks that? He might in his heart, but that's the difference. He's not out there saying it. Well, that's because he doesn't do interviews. For drive and motivation and that desire to succeed, what's the difference between Bobby Knight, who has been like that since he was at West Point back in the 60s? Mm-hmm. And the problem is he's no longer in the game. So there's no drive and motivation. But don't you think he's done? He's finito. But don't you think that part of him made him successful and helped him to succeed, Parky? To push you over the edge. They say about Michael Jordan, the biggest trouble that Michael Jordan's had with retirement is he's still the most ultra-competitive human being on the planet. You play him in golf, he's got to win. So here's the difference between those three. Bobby Knight for me, he's no better than a thug. I have history with Bobby Knight, and I may be biased here, but he did things to fans, to LSU fans. He did things to players. He said things. He's just a miserable little crotchety old man now. And forget about him. You got Michael Jordan and Tom Brady. Yeah, they may use those to drive them and to motivate them, but they're not just little pieces of junk. And for me, Bobby Knight, great basketball coach. Give him all that. Bobby Knight, but for part of his soul and his humanness,
is just a piece of dreck.
So in your mind, Bobby Knight at 70 is not what Michael Jordan or Tom Brady will be at 70?
No, not even close.
Not angry, not
You're not
edgy.
going to hear Tom Brady say, I wish Paul, what's his name? The NFL guy is dead. I wish Paul Tagliabue had died.
Or Roger Goodell.
Yeah, Roger
Not just a bunch of guys looking for a target for their never-ending anger.
Right.
Like Bobby Knight.
Yes.